Hello lovely friend, I'm Alice, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I have a collaboration video with Arteza. He kindly sent me these art supplies for free for me to review and just offer my beginner's insight on it and how I like it. So I received also a 10% off coupon code that I will be linking down below in the description box, as well as a few affiliate links, so when you use those links to order, I will be receiving a small commission, but it will be of no extra cost to you. So do check out the description box if you're interested, but with all the formalities aside, let's get into whatever I'm doing. I'm trying to do a swatch, but since these are gouache colors that they sent me, I used way too much water, so I feel like this swatch is a tiny bit useless, actually. Well, not completely useless, because after I swatched all of them, I realized the colors look so differently from the tube. So you see, they have like this tiny color representation ring thing on the tube. The swatch looks so different. So when you swatch the colors, you will realize the colors look so differently from how the tube looks. So I think it's definitely helpful that I did the swatch. But I don't know, I still struggle a lot. This is my first time using gouache. I have only used watercolor so far, and from what I've heard, people do say that watercolor is pretty similar to gouache, and I fully agree. And the only real knowledge I had about gouache is that you can layer lighter colors on top of darker ones. So with watercolors, usually you'd like start with the lightest one and then you can build up to the darker ones. And I thought that, okay, with gouache you can do it the other way around, which is kind of true, not completely. And I don't know, I played around a little bit, and for my first drawing I felt like, okay, I'm gonna draw Taehyung, because just previously on that day before opening like the package and all that, I saw the comeback pictures for Persona, and his hair was so vibrantly blue, and I was like, oh gosh, that's so blue. And then when I did the swatches, they had like really nice blue tones in the color pack. Since I received the 24 colors pack, they did have like, I think 3 or 4 colors of blue, or shades of blue. So I felt like that this would be really nice to just try out the colors and just also draw a little bit of Tae. I haven't drawn him in so long. But I used so much water. I used way too much water, to the point where the whole drawing just looks like a watercolor drawing, and which is actually kind of cool, because I feel like if you have got a set of gouache colors, you basically have watercolor and gouache 2 in 1. But yeah, I used way too much water. You're not supposed to use that much water, I think, with gouache, and I would basically blame that mistake on myself, but also kind of, you can see they sent me like watercolor paper, then the gouache colors, and then also some water tank brushes. And I absolutely love using water tank brushes. That's basically all I use. But I feel like they're a little bit more practical with watercolor, because with gouache, I feel like you want a very precise control over how much water you get or that flows out of your brush. And with the water tongue brush, they have like this tiny section on the grip where it's a little bit softer, so it's easier for you to press and then more water flows out. But there is still a consistent flow of water, like it constantly is kind of leaking water, which would be perfect for watercolor. But with gouache, since you don't really need that much water, for my second day where I tried to draw, yeah, I kind of tried to draw a girl, and I was trying to be very mindful. I was like, no, today we're gonna try and make this look like a gouache drawing. And so I emptied out the water tongue brush completely and just got myself a tiny cup of water. And whenever I needed more water, I just dipped the brush pen into the water. So kind of basically like using an actual brush. And that helped a lot more. So that was like the first problem out of the way. Now my second problem is, I've got no idea about gouache. I've also got no idea about color theory. I know nothing about colors basically, and just rounding it all up, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a complete beginner, and so I was very just struggling with this all. I wanted to have, for her to have like this very nice sun-kissed color, but I think it turned out very orangey. I'm not sure, I feel like on the camera it doesn't look as bad, but I still really liked how she turned out. I just feel like it was so shocking because I used so little water. It was just so opaque and I'm just not used to that because I've only ever used watercolors before, right? So for this, it was just a tiny bit surprising, caught me a little bit off guard. I was like, oh, that is dark. That's very opaque and that's very orange. But yeah, I basically had the thought process of, okay, so what do we know about gouache? Nothing. But we do know that we can layer lighter colors on top of darker ones. So I thought, well, this is absolutely perfect. Then we can just go about this as if it was a digital drawing. And when I draw digitally, I just layer whatever base color approximately that I want, and then I kind of build up on top of it. And so that's what I did. And it's definitely true that you can layer lighter colors on top of darker ones, but I think it does sometimes reactivate the color underneath a little bit. So if the color on the paper is already pretty dark and you try to like add maybe yellow or like a white on top of it, it definitely smudges the color underneath a little bit. So you will kind of smudge it and it looks a little bit muddy. So I think that's something that I will have to bear in mind the next time that I use gouache. Other than that, it was actually okay. I just had kind of like, I don't know, I think it's a little bit easier to like blend colors with watercolor and with gouache because it is so opaque. I had a little bit of problem just kind of blending it together. Yeah, that's basically it. I do really like the paper they sent me though, because I don't think I've ever really drawn a watercolor paper. All I ever drawn is the Travis notebook paper, which does beautifully. Like, it does the job well enough. But because I was struggling so much with this drawing, I kept like just going over and over and over again. And I think had I used any other paper than proper watercolor paper, my paper would have gotten super thin and just kind of dissolved under how much I tried to like fix things and just kind of work it over and over again. But I really had so much fun. And oh, another thing, I did not know that gouache colors dry differently than how they look when they are wet. You can see I'm trying to add like shadows to her hair just so it doesn't look as flat. But while it's wet, it looks like super dark, just a really nice kind of almost black kind of color. But when it dries, it's just a super rich green. And I did not know it does that. So apparently gouache dries, when the gouache is like a dark color, it tends to dry lighter. And when it's lighter, it tends to dry darker. So that's something I learned. I feel like I should have just watched a few tutorials. I don't know. I always go about these things and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wing this. We're just gonna go like full first-hand experience. We're gonna mess up, we're gonna try, we're gonna laugh, and then we're gonna mess up. And it's gonna be fun. But then whenever I'm in the middle of the process, I just kind of regret my decisions. So like, oof, I should have definitely watched a few tutorials. This was not smart. But I had a lot of fun. I'm super thankful actually that I received these supplies because I have only been drawing digitally for so long, and being able to draw something on paper again and just try out a new medium as well to just really draw and not have the undo button, because I think having the undo button so easily, you can just easily erase the mistakes. You don't really have to commit, and drawing digitally really forced me to think, okay, do I really want to do this right now here? Because I really can't undo this. If I put the color down, it's down. Like there aren't that many ways to get out of this after I put it down. So it was kind of nice to have this commitment where I have to think properly and not just go about things however I want to. So that was a really nice change of pace, and I did not expect for myself to have as much fun as I did with this drawing. I really liked it, and I think for the fact that it's my actual first proper gouache drawing, it turned out way better than I thought it would. So I'm pretty proud of myself, and I think I did pretty okay. I know there are a lot of mistakes, A lot of it is pretty cringe and like I probably messed up a lot, but I'm pretty happy with it. And so I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if I did anything horribly wrong. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys stay well. I hope you stay creative, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.